All right, I think we're live. It's been a while. It's been or I say it's been a while, but like compared to some other people, it hasn't been that long. I haven't really been streaming here. Let's turn this down. I haven't really been streaming too much this week. I've been doing a lot of reruns. I discovered the rerun feature, and it's been actually pretty helpful. I've been able to pick up a couple more views on my older videos, and pick up a few followers along the way. So to all you guys that are new, thank you guys for coming aboard. Hopefully I won't be too boring with with some of the stuff that I do. I am this is kind of a personal goal of mine, which is just to kind of document this whole portfolio creation journey. So I'm working on creating a graphic design portfolio. I'm in my last year of design school right now, and I've done a lot of projects over the last 4 years ish, sort of. So I'm putting together a book and what will soon become a website and some other sort of like leave behind materials for my own personal design portfolio. So I've done a couple little streams in the past. I've done a lot of Photoshop mockups, which is taking some of my older projects and putting them in a mockup form to make it look like a flat PDF, actually make it look like a book. Which is an easier way of instead of taking pictures. So, but I have been doing some pictures for some other projects. Mock-ups come in handy for when it's hard to photograph something in real life. So, instance, like a flat spread open book is kind of hard to photograph. At least making it consistent. You kind of have to like hold the pages down or use clips to hold them down or something. It just ends up looking messy. So using a Photoshop mock-up is preferred for that sort of angle. Some other angles, like fanning the book open and things like that, are better for photographs. So I've been trying to do like a good mixture of the two. Just overall, just want to make my projects look as good as they can. A photograph can actually make a project look better than it actually is. The hope is that all the projects are good from the start, but photographs definitely make a project look good. And on the flip side of that, it can make it look worse. So the goal is just kind of make your projects look as best as you can all the time. So I'm hoping that my projects are good, and then just making the photos make them look even better, right? Because this whole portfolio is selling myself as a designer, selling my current and potential sort of benefit or skill set that I have as a designer. Anyways, let's get into the work. I'm sure you guys are probably tired of looking at my face already, so I'll show you what I'm kind of working on right now. I've done a few things since I last kind of was meeting with you guys here. So let me briefly do a little quick recap. I got a lot to do tonight, so I don't want to spend the whole time explaining things. So I will hopefully try to go through this pretty quick. So, all right. So what I'm working on right now are creating. So I'm creating a book, right? I'm creating a book for my portfolio. What I'm doing right now is I'm creating what would be like the sort of project opening pages. Which will really kind of set the stage for the look and feel of the book. Granted, a lot of this book will just be my projects. Things that will be on pretty much every page are the running head. So the title of the book, my name, the name of the project, what the page numbers look like. And those things are all kind of oversights for most people. They kind of just get thrown on at the end of the book, but with some good design, you can really make that stuff really activate the outside edges of the page and really add some personality to the book. I'm finding myself in a little bit of a pickle because the project that I'm designing for, I had to choose one project this week and design the whole chapter for it. So like taking pictures and stuff, and I'll get to that in a little bit later. But this project is a very sort of serious project. It has to do with income inequality, and my overall mood or sort of theme for my book is really just have fun with it. So it's kind of hard to design something with the mindset of just have fun with it when it's such a serious topic. So the idea is that the sort of red accent color would change from project to project. So if one project is mainly blue, it would change to blue. So hopefully that makes it a little bit more fun. Anyways, this is one idea for a chapter opener. And if you guys have any questions, I'll just type them in the chat and I'd be more than happy to kind of answer. I know a couple people had messaged me earlier this week wondering a few things about InDesign. So if that person happens to be in the chat, feel free to just type in the chat and ask away. Anywho, what I so this is sort of like one project opener here. Another one would look like this. You can see how the running head is now on the left hand side of the page. I'm on the outside end here, just on the left hand side. We got a cool funny quote here by the Aaron Draplin. I actually just got his book, and he's really kind of inspired my my take on design and my sort of outlook here on this portfolio, which is just have fun with it, man. Like, we're lucky to have this sort of a job as designing things for a living, and we should just have fun with the whole thing. And yeah, you got to be serious every once in a while, but mainly it's just to kind of have fun, do good work for good people is what he always says, and I really sort of relate to that. This quote here is funny. Syrup on shit doesn't make it a pancake. There's so many different ways you can kind of look at that. I think I kind of just think sort of like strategy, I guess, is if you want to design something that just that needs some work before it gets to the design stage, you should really just focus on getting your content right. It's kind of like having somebody come to you and say, I want a website. You're like, okay, give me all your content. Well, we don't really have any content or something like that. Anyways, this is another idea. And then using the sort of same style, what does this look like if it's a 2-spread sort of project opener instead of just a single spread? What does it look like if you take 2 spreads? So instead of having all the information on the one spread, put an image there instead, and then do the image, or do the rest of the information on a different spread. Lay it out a little bit differently. I like the sort of handwritten element. It's the only typeface that's one of a kind, right? It's your handwriting. Everybody has their own. Another one here. This is a work in progress. I need to work on this one a little bit more. I thought this was kind of a cool idea, kind of like a fill out the blank per project. We'll see. We'll see. This one I think it needs some work. What does that look like? A red? Maybe not red. I don't know. I know. This was a work in progress. This is another one that I did. A little bit more playful, a little bit more kind of edgy, I guess. I'm really liking this one. I think this one's kind of fun. Alright, moving on. This one, yeah, this one, not done with that one yet. I don't know why I still have that one. I should probably just delete that one. Maybe. Was it an idea? Don't know. Doesn't look that finished to me. And this is the one that I'm working on right now. I still want to add some more stuff to this, and I was designing this, and I'm like, man, I should probably be streaming right now. So I went from this to starting to stream. Alright, and then so this whole InDesign document right here, this is just chapter/project opener pages. I will show you what I've been doing most of the week, which is getting everything else ready for this project. So this, again, this image here is the only one that still needs editing in this sort of setup. I did some photography this week, and I photographed sort of my process work for this project. So what I'm going to need to do is, I just had this in here as a placeholder. This is the raw photo. I need to go into Photoshop and pen tool all this out so that way I can just put it on top of a gray background and call it good. But another part of me thinks that this image just looks cool. I mean, it's the process of me doing the process, right? Is that too many levels of thinking there? I don't know. So it would go before the chapter openers would come before all of the stuff. So you start with the chapter openers, then you go into the process, and then I had it that, ooh, I know I'm already giving away all my secrets. Okay, you would go you would go into just an opening image, and this whole project talks about income inequality. So I thought this was like a very sort of like good image to kind of represent that. It's perfect, right? You got this dude over here in a bow tie, and he's got his fancy clothes on and everything, completely ignoring this guy that's probably looking for some food. So just an opening image, and then we go into a photo, and this is a photo that I took this week. This is one of the main photos I was trying to get, just because I couldn't find any mock-ups for everything else. I found some mock-ups just to kind of do like the card set individually. And again, I'm explaining things too much, and I think maybe if anyone's got any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna kind of flip through these really quick so we can get into the work. So before I took this photo, I had a mock-up version. This is a Photoshop mock-up, and while this is still a cool spread, I think this sort of photo is a lot nicer. So And I photographed this on top of a white background, so I had to come in between here, in between all the cards, and Photoshop that to gray, so that way I could have the white cards pop a little bit more. So yeah, we got from that to this, and this would be another spread with all the cards laid out. Well, not all the cards, most of the cards here all laid out. And so really having a lot of white space just to let the designs kind of stand on their own, speak for themselves. Don't want to design up these sort of pages too much. That's what the chapter openers are for. Here's another one. We got another image. You can see some guy here in a suit just walking past this girl that obviously needs some help. These three cards here work together. And then to a different part of the project is I created a small book. And that was the main purpose for this shot here, was to not only show the cards, but to show the cards in scale to the book. So the book here you can see is roughly the size of 2 cards stacked on top of each other. Because without that, you wouldn't have any sense of scale of how big this book is. So that's the straight on shot of the book and the cover. Here are some spreads of the book, and I'm using the middle spread. The line in between the 2 pages is going to be the line in between this actual book. And again, with this one here, actually this guy here probably needs to scoot over just a hair. And then again, sort of following the same setup. I might try to switch this up a bit because it gets repetitive. It's the same format for 2 spreads in a row. And then I'll get that one clicked to the right too. And then I also did an infographic for this project. And I also did a website. I need to go through and do the website too. I think I'm going to leave that out for this week just because I need to do a little bit more designing for the website to look good. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So roughly 13 to 15 spreads for this whole project, which is 30 pages. Not too shabby, not too shabby. So anyways, so I'm going to go back, just kind of, now that I've shown you what the project entails, I'm going to go back and work on these chapter openers a bit. I'm already getting thirsty. Normally I'll be streaming for like 3 hours at a time and realize I've been taking a sip of water for 3 hours. All right. No questions yet, so it looks like that you guys kind of got a good grasp on what I'm working on, hopefully. So we will see kind of how the night goes. The plan is to kind of work as long as I can. I have, let's see, if I have 1, 2, 3, 4 designs, kind of 4 or 5-ish designs. We'll kind of see how far we can get. The idea is quality over quantity here, okay? So I need to, if you ever see me looking in this direction, I'm either looking at the stream, texting somebody, or looking at some inspiration. I've got my Pinterest page up, as well as my mood board. And maybe later on we'll even take out the tablet and do some handwritten elements on top of all this. I like to say that for the end just because it's this process of me kind of moving my keyboard around. And alright, so what did I want to do now? I had some sort of inspiration over here that I was looking at. So like I was saying, if you guys got questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be kind of silent around. I mean, if I'm doing something crazy and I feel like it should be explained, then I'll let you guys know. Where'd it go? Unlock all on spread. This is obviously locked. Oh. Wait, is it? Well, I guess, why is there a lock up there then? Well, that's a chain. Duh. And then hopefully InDesign doesn't crash out on me. It's being a little slow, so I'm kind of getting worried. I think it has to do with me streaming too. So we'll see. I'm hoping it's not going to be too big of an issue. These iMacs are not as fancy as you might think. Oh my goodness, see, it's already messing up all the zoom.
Give them a
Okay.
satisfaction they couldn't get
Relax.
any other way.
Oh man, this song's a little crazy, so thumbs that one down. I was thinking it might be nice to kind of crop this up a bit, but then part of me wants to do this. Is that too much? Is that weird? Nah, I liked it the other way. Alright, I think I need to put something up here though. What should I put up there? Thinking, going down the kind of list here. Let me get my post-it note out. My post-it note of things I need to include on here. Need to include the running head, which I still need to add to this page. Project name, check. Instructor, I got all that stuff, check. Objective, let's see. Oh, we got something. Where did that come from? Oh, we got a new follower. Thank you. I don't know how to say your name here. It was too small to see. Yeah, I don't know if that says anything. OKHT253, thanks for the follow, man. Glad to have you aboard. I'm working on getting my my sort of like path to affiliate. I got, let's see, I think you make 48 followers now, and I need 50 to get affiliate. And I don't know what that means, but I think it would be cool. I always say, like, I started doing Twitch before Twitch had all this stuff, and I started doing Twitch back in like 2011. Modern Warfare 2 was just coming out. Or 2010 maybe. Yeah, so I did. That's when I started doing Twitch, and I did gaming and the typical thing people do with Twitch. And now I'm doing more design on it. So, and now they have all these cool features. So I'm trying to figure out what the new features do, and you know, if all goes well, maybe make a few bucks off of this. Repay for myself for the new webcam and the microphone setup that I got going on now. I've actually had this microphone for a while. I used to do a lot of commentaries for YouTube. I was like totally in the whole gaming thing. In high school, I made Call of Duty commentaries and montages, even though I quickly realized that I would not be a montage player for long because I sucked at getting clips. I was a good player, don't get me wrong. I was a really good player, but getting clips was just not my thing. I would get frustrated thinking that the only point of playing Xbox was to get clips, and I wasn't having fun at all, so I had to stop that. It was actually the main reason I stopped videos in general, was because it really took the fun out of video games for me. I'd always get competitive. If I would go like 30-0 one game, and if I died once, I'd be like, well, there goes a really good video. Even though it probably wasn't that big of a deal at all. But yeah, it was a kind of a fun experience. It really kind of got me into the whole video making thing and making graphics. I got into graphics because I was making banners for everybody. I would make banners for myself, and I'd make banners for all my friends, and next thing you know, I'm not joining teams as a player, I'm joining teams as a designer. And that was sort of my end to get into big teams, because that was the whole thing, was you get into a big team and then you're set, you're cool. Oh, you're part of the biggest team I was on was TK. I was on Team Caliber as the lead designer for most of 2014. And then I just kind of got inactive and busy with the whole college thing, right? Why shouldn't I focus on video games when I can focus on college? Man. Alright, what am I doing? Okay, so I need to figure out what I want to put in this top right corner here. I was looking over here at my inspiration board and got distracted with the follow. Where does it keep going away? Okay. What else can I add? Maybe... Well, I think once I add the running head will kind of add a little bit more stuff too, but I feel like it's a little bare. I mean, there's still a lot. Maybe it isn't bare. I don't like how this quote is like... I don't like how that line isn't perfectly saddling the image there. There we go. Alright, so we got some stuff down here. We got this guy. What do you guys think? If anybody out there has a designer eye, how does the hierarchy on this page read? I want the hierarchy to obviously be the 8. The 8 is just to signify you're at a new location. This isn't 7, this is 8. This is a new project. And then second, I want it to be income inequality. What is this project? And then from there, you can kind of go to where you want. The rest of the information is just secondary. The whole point of the spread is just to let you know that it's a new project. And if you want to read more, you can. Maybe this quote is important, kind of ties in with my concept of just having fun. This is just sort of like a very honest quote about this project. And then down here's like a little bit more interpreting, reading into this project. Maybe it's a little side note. Mohawk Maker Quarterly just came out with a, well, I don't know if it just came out. It's probably a few months old now. But they came out with this magazine. And the magazine focuses around the idea of process. And so they interview all these different designers and different artists in general about their process. And the design firm that actually designed this magazine actually did everything that you see here in blue is the design firm talking about their process of creating the book about process, which I think is really cool. There's some funny stuff in here, and there's like one picture of like a cut off hand, and it's like the hand was accidentally cut off, like it was an illustration of a hand, and it's this one here. So they got these illustrations of hands, and one of the fingers is missing, and there's a little icon next to it, and down here there's a little quote about it. It's like, the cut woodworking finger was a last minute addition. It just cracked us up. Whenever something makes you laugh, keep it, even if you're the only one that laughs. Which I think is funny. So it just, I mean, small little things like that is kind of the inspiration for my book. Just sort of some small little just notes about my process of creating this. So, alright, anyways. Getting back into the design, what should I add up there into the top right corner? Let's look at some of the other spreads. What do I got on the other ones? Oh, maybe I could have the concept up there somewhere. But doesn't that make sense to have it down here? Maybe I could add keywords or something. Or I'll do that. I'll do like keywords. So this is like a keyword. What would the keyword be? Keyword. Maybe the keywords will be, oh my gosh, I'm sorry guys if the lag on this. My computer's just being slow for some reason. I don't know what the deal is. I think it makes sense for this to be kind of like a courier. Sort of my secondary typeface here. And that could be a little bit bigger. I think 8/10. Maybe 12 would be better. And then, do those look good red? Maybe those look good red. Oh. Those look good bold. I feel like that I should have some consistency though, because down here they're not bold. Maybe I'll just have this as like a paragraph of type for now. We'll see. Maybe I can find some sort of purpose now. I think the idea right now is just to create some sort of aesthetically pleasing design. This is kind of cool. This project's goal was to inform and maybe another sentence up there would help. I wish if you pasted text into a text box, it would automatically choose the same style. Come on. Why isn't it choosing it? Alright, man. What's going on? I'm selecting the text. I'm clicking this text. And it's just... What the hell? Alright. Hold on. I think I got a fix. My go-to is always to... And then see, it's just being weird. My fix is whenever I want to try and remove the styling from something, I open up a new tab in Chrome and I just paste it into the URL. It always seems to work. What happened to my stuff? I think I have... So we got the curry up here. Don't realize. I'm just trying to fix the rag right now. Alright, so I can just delete some stuff because I wrote it. The problem is that people don't realize these are only two of the many aspects of the topic. And I'll go back and wordsmith this later on, but the project goal to inform, and then that ampersand can drop to the next line. Think about how people think about inequality. Ideally, it would be income inequality, but you know, it works for now. We're a little bit of a time crunch here, so we'll just call it good. Why is there a line above here? I think this looks better as black, just because I have the smaller query down here, and that's supposed to be something slightly different, right? It's not what this is. It's something a little bit different. All right. Anyways, yes, this is InDesign. Sorry, I have the. I don't know how long ago you said that. I have my chat open up in a different window. Yes, this is InDesign. I'm doing a so any sort of like time you do book design, you should be using InDesign. I have a friend who would design all of his book spreads in Illustrator, and would have like 60 artboards at the end of it, and I'm just like, man, how do you do that? And if you're anything like me, you're probably wanting to stick with the tools you know. For the first 3 years of my design career, I only used Photoshop. So, and once you learn the other tools, they're a lot easier to use. Like keeping a consistent grid is a lot easier in InDesign. And then once you start to doing like production files and you start sending this stuff to printers, InDesign has a lot of built-in stuff that makes it so much easier than like a one-off sort of poster or something you might do in Illustrator. I just use Illustrator mainly for like creating vector files. Like there was a tiny little icon that I needed to create, and I just used Illustrator for that. Just because it's easier. Let's see, I do all this stuff. I don't need that group open. I do need this open though. Here's a little hint. When you create text and actually just in general, any sort of text block, you should highlight it all and then do underneath, when you go to Window, type in Tables, then you go to Story, click on Optical Margin Alignment. And what that does is it hangs your punctuation. And then also like sort of like you saw how it shifted the crossbars of the T. It optically aligns it so that way it's more of a straighter edge. It also hangs your punctuation, which means that instead of having like a parenthesis, like here I have it on this right here next to the gap. So if I do a quote, it hangs it a little bit outside the edge of the text box. So that way it just helps kind of keep things square. And I found that whatever your point size is, you should double it in here. Anybody that knows Illustrator more than me, you might say that's wrong, or which could be perfect. I just find for my own personal usage, doubling it tends to help. You would think that using 12 point, when you have 12 point font, it hangs it right, but it doesn't always for me. At least that's, again, my experience with it. You used InDesign to create your portfolios for architecture school. Oh, cool. Oh, so you go to Windows, type in Tables. So anytime anything has to do with type, it's under Type in Tables, which sounds obvious, but I find myself looking for things and it's more obvious than I thought it would be. So I'm looking for things and it just I guess it was in there. So yeah, Window, Type in Tables, and then it's called Story. And that just opens up something called Optical Margin Alignment. So yeah, that's a trick to use. I don't use it all the time, but it's always best to do. I've noticed that like it's mostly important when you do big type. Big type and small type. It's important all the time, I guess. Because like especially like in this paragraph, if I put a quote here, doesn't that just look bad? Like having the every indented it like that? And then let's see, if I were to, it's 24, so if I optically align it, 24, double that is 48. And it still doesn't do it perfectly. Sometimes when you're doing posters or big type, you gotta do it manually, which is just creating a separate text box and lining it up. But it does help, right? I wonder what will happen if I just keep going up. What do I do? 60. It's at one point it stops helping. But that's the idea, right? So I think this spread is cool beans for now. So I'm gonna go maybe start another one. Maybe we'll do one more and then we'll start refining some of the ones that we have now. Oh, I need to put the running head in first. So I want to switch it up a bit. I've been using this. I've done like 2 different running heads and then a variation on the third one. or on the second one to make a third one. So I want to try something else. So let's see. This is kind of what I had before. I would have a selected works, which is just to say, hey, this is a portfolio, right? Without saying portfolio, you can kind of do either or, selected works or portfolio. Selected work sounds a little bit better. My idea was to have that and like my concept, which is just to have fun with it, along with the name of the project, and then obviously my name there. So actually, just to I'm gonna swap the selected works in my name, just because my instructor told me that the name's got to be on the left, and I don't want to mess that up. So, and then on this one here, it's right. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, try it out. It helps. I got all the sorts of knowledge. If anyone's got, I've been requested to do an InDesign tutorial, and I need to come up with some questions or some basic things that I can do when I'm not on such a time crunch. Maybe I'll go through and do a thorough sort of InDesign tutorial for beginners, just because it's one of those programs that a lot of people in the gaming community don't use, just because they don't have a need for it. But once they start finding themselves doing real work, or that sounds bad, not real work, but like print work or something that would need multiple pages, I guess, they have a hard time kind of making the jump, or they'll try to use the wrong tool for the job. But like you said, you used it for your portfolios, which is great. Architecture school. Yeah, my school too. My teacher has recently tried convincing the architecture students to come over to her class and take her portfolio, or take her portfolio class, just because architecture students need a portfolio too, and it's actually cool. I'm curious to know what school you went to, just because I think that's such a coincidence that you created a portfolio kind of like this for architecture school, and my teacher went and did a lesson for the architecture department. Alright, so I got these two here. I need running head. What should I do for the running head? What are some kind of like fun ways that I can do a running head? I'm opening up I have some examples of some portfolios that I can look at. Work I like. Let's see. You know, a lot of these are simple. My instructor kept telling me not to do something so simple, but it's like every single portfolio that I find, it's just, they're all similar. Not like, I'm not saying like, oh, I should just do something simple because that's what everyone else did. It's just, I don't know how fancy I should get with it. Maybe we can do something kind of like this. Oh, went to school in Jamaica. Wow. Alright, definitely not the same school as me then. I go to school in San Francisco. Alright, so I was thinking something like this. I've kind of been using this these grid lines or these rules somewhere else. I'm not going to do like this little dot that they have, or that sort of zigzag line up there. I'm just thinking maybe like a simple structured sort of design like that, and then at the bottom having sort of like the projects and then the page number. So let's test that out. I think that could work. Did they have that open, or they had that aligned to something? I'm worried about how that's going to align to this, just because I have this more on the inside of the page. But hey, we'll see. Maybe it's, the idea is just to kind of shoot some ideas out there, and if we change things later on, that's cool with me. So it's going to kind of follow the same sort of style as this, or at least the same size. And In reality, I really need to make these guys a little bit bigger. So what did this guy do? Chapter, section, subject, project. Where's the name of it? Is this the name of his portfolio? Her portfolio? I don't even know. So I don't need a chapter section. That's just a little bit too much, I think. Portfolio. We're now getting into animation school. They say you don't need a portfolio, but I'm trying to get one done anyways. They told me I could use Wix as a website, which is probably what I'm going to work on too. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Check out Wix. Wix is great, but I would also look into something called Adobe Portfolio. That's sort of a new project or new service. Adobe Portfolio. I think it's only been out for a couple years. I've heard good things about that, and that's what I'm going to be using for my portfolio. Just because they have some really simple templates, and it's going to look nice. And I think if you have a Behance page, it automatically integrates with Behance, and you can use the content from a Behance page, and it just generates you a website, which is cool. Project name. Do I need name? Is that redundant? Is that obviously? You know, I don't think that's her running it. I think that's just kind of for the projects. Oh, maybe it is. Oh, this is a guy. Okay. I remember it from this page now. You know what? For this right here, I'm going to change up a little bit of something. I'm going to use this sort of style for my running head. And I'll do something slightly different for the text on there. At least that's the idea. How did Aaron do it? This is a straight up text. What do my notes say? Nope. Name goes on. Name on left. Okay. This isn't something that I believe is a huge deal, but it's something that my instructor is particular on, so I want to make sure that I do it the right way. Okay, what happened? I pasted it, and it's not there. Actually, I think it makes more sense to have this 8 aligned to here. And I'm not just saying that just gonna like move it out of the way, but it does make sense to. Oh, does make sense to have it there instead. What spread did I have that? I had that on another spread. Maybe not. Oh well, it wasn't that hard to redo. Okay, so I like having the page numbers like this. And like that. So what do you guys think? Should I use the sort of like countdown like this here again? Or is it redundant since I have the big 8 on here now? Maybe I'll show you. I had something like this. So I had something like that. Where I have like, since I'm thinking I'm going to use 9 projects in my portfolio, so I was kind of having it just be like that. Maybe it's redundant. Maybe I could have it here. Yeah, I don't think it hurts there. Okay, so I'm done with this spread. Now what should I do? Oh, there I had it on the very first spread. Okay, so I got that here. So I got one design. And this is kind of like 2 designs. So this is this. I was meaning to say this is kind of like 1 design. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be nice to do 1 more, just to have like a solid 6. Let's see, what can I do? Oh, this is an idea. What could I use this for, though? Oh, okay. So let's see. I think I can use. So what is that? That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have an idea. We're still gonna use this. We're gonna have to recreate some stuff on it, though. The idea here, actually this image isn't going to work. The idea here is to have like a full bleed image, and oh, I think we're going to use that image, but not that one. Something more like this. Alright, so use this and then maybe have... I don't know what a good size would be. This was 8.5 by... Let's see, I got a ruler. Maybe something 4 by 6? 4 by 6 would probably be a good size. By 6, and we'll align this to page. Doesn't really fit with my grid. We can move it a little bit. That's cool. Oh, that's more like 5 by 7. Man, maybe I should have gone smaller. The idea is to have a big like number 1 in this on the first spread, and then on the second spread we can have some text going in the middle. I think this is a good size. So okay, so what did I want to add color onto this first one? I think we'll leave this regular for now. Conspiracy, okay, that's regular. And we take the same number 8. Oh, where'd it go? Take that 8. This guy here is gonna have to go smaller. I don't know if the class information is the best stuff to have here or not. Because I think it'd be cool to have some like text around the edges, but I don't know if that's the best stuff to have or not. I think, let's see if I can say your name. Chevler? Chev? I'm just gonna call you Chev. The first couple, I think the first half of your message got cut off. You said like right up to the page edge. I always kind of lose any coolness I was going for. What came before like right up to the page edge? Just call you Chev. Alright, Chev works. I'm gonna just leave this one here for now, and maybe I'll get some ideas on the next spread. I was never able to get it to print to the edge. So you need to set up the print when you print something, right? You need to set it up when you're actually in the print screen. So like you can see here, I have the bleed, right? That's what this red line is. This very thin black line is the edge of my artboard, and this red is the bleed, right? So when you actually go to print this, here, I think I got a PDF I can open up. It's really simple. I think maybe I might just be printing it wrong. What type of printer do you have? It's gonna open up. I think I can just do it for any image. So I mean, I normally use Acrobat, but Acrobat's taking forever to open up. So if I print this, right, I go to printing. You got to make sure that your printer is first of all, you got to make sure your printer has the capability to print borderless. So I'm using the Epson Artisan 1430, and when you print this and you set up the paper that you use, right? You use US. You can choose from like US letter. These are all the papers that my printer can print. Oh, you print somewhere across campus. Yeah, you got to make sure that your printer can print borderless. If you're using like one of those big copy machines, those can't print borderless because they print really fast and it doesn't have the ability to print borderless. But if you're using like a regular inkjet printer that's borderless enabled, you choose your paper size and then US letter, right? That's a set size. But there's another option here for borderless. And you'll see even in the preview, right? Did you see that little jump? If you look at this top edge, this image goes all the way to the edge of the page. But if I just do regular US letter, it doesn't. It doesn't have that anymore. And that's where the little arms of the printer roll the page, and it holds those little arms. You can opt not to do that, and it has another way for it to roll. but it does it slower, and that's where borderless comes into play. So you need to do it in the print settings when you're actually printing your document. So instead of just Super B, you got a Super B borderless. So that's how you do it. You do it in the print screen, not in your file setup. You need to make sure that you have the bleed set up though. And ideally, when you're using the bleeds, so this is a 8x10 page, so 2 of them together would be 16x10 plus whatever the bleed is, so probably be like 16.5 by 10.5 if it's a 1/4 inch bleed. You want to make sure that you're printing on a piece of paper big enough so that way it has both your trim marks and your bleed marks. Does that make sense? If you print things out like I don't even have here, I'm trying to write it down. I have a computer in front of me, I can just show you. So like imagine if this was printed out, right? You would have different crop marks. So this might be like your regular crop mark. And this is the line that you would cut. But it'll also have kind of like the bleed mark too, in case for some reason you wanted to cut it along the bleed. And they offset it a little bit like that. So those are the lines. So that's how you get it when you're in InDesign and you go to export. You go to, in your export screen, you go to marks and bleeds, and then you click all printer. You actually don't need to do all of them, but you just want to do crop marks and bleed marks. And then down here, click use document bleed settings. That's how I do it. You want to make sure that you have some sort of a system. I can go into all this stuff in a different stream. But that's how you do it. Long story short, do it in the print settings. Try to tell them that next time. Yeah, you just need to keep an eye out for if they're using like I have small printers, and you can do it on the small printers. Will save me money. Yeah, no problem, dude. I like helping people. It's one of the main reasons I do this stream, is to be able to help people out. I need to work on my blog. I have a design blog on my website to kind of help people with this sort of stuff, and I need to be posting more to it. I don't need a statement. That makes it look bad. I'll just know that it's the concept statement. Alright, so if I group that, I'm trying to send this in here somehow. This is gonna be cool, I think. I think this looks a lot better than having it a big thing like this. But then I start to lose some of this fun stuff down there. I had like, this project includes a magazine, a book, a website, no sleep, stress, junk food, I got my files spread into 3 different folders, and they're all in different folders. I'll be sure to check it out. Sweet. I think this is in spring of 2017 is when I did this. Yeah. Week 5. Here we go. Kind of the juxtaposition here of people just going on with their day and somebody going on with their day kind of over this person that's obviously in need of some sort of help. I think is interesting for this thread. Anyways, I think I'm just going to leave this one as is and then kind of focus more of my efforts onto these two here because I think these two have more potential. This one here I think should have a different image though. You know, I just finished making all this stuff white, and I think I have to make it black again. Alright, let's do this. This is actually going to end up working better because I'm wanted to kind of go over this with handwritten elements. I had some better images I could use for this. I think this one will have to do for now. I'm not a huge fan of this image. Crop it like this. Maybe I could do this one. Object. Transform flip. This could work. The second half of this project really kind of focused on faces, so it might be kind of a good idea to have that. I have another image of this guy here with the line behind him. Oh well, I think I'm just gonna leave it. I think that's I think this works for now. Oh, I forgot a line. I don't like, actually this I felt was a little bit more compelling with the red background anyways. I'm sorry. I'm throwing you guys all off. What was that? There's this folder here. Oh, you know what? I could do this. I had this full photo. I didn't think I still had it. Alright, so how did I Photoshop that then? Patiently waiting, you know, wait Photoshop to do its thing. Photoshop is always the slowest of all my programs. I don't know what the deal is. I created all these cards doing something with what one of the YouTubers that I like calls a super comp, which is the idea of just creating all the cards on one big artboard like this. Alright, so I got the gradient map now. There we go, this kind of works. I think it needs to be a little bit more vibrant though. The reds aren't matching for some reason. I think one was in CMYK and the other one was in RGB. Let's see if plus 20 helps. That helped a little bit. What is this project missing? What do you guys think? Should I add something else to this 8 or just leave the 8? While you guys are brainstorming on that, I'm going to check out to see what some of the people in my group have mentioned. Or my class. I got some feedback from one of my classmates that I was going to use. Alright, I think I'm just going to kind of throw in some running heads on it. I don't know, maybe an internal black border. Oh, I think I know what you're saying. You're thinking of something like this. Nah, I don't like that. I feel like there's... It cheapens it a little bit. If anything, it might look better on this one here, but I don't think it will. Maybe. No, I mean, then it starts to kind of look like nutrition facts, you know? Like on the side of a food box or something. That looks a little bit more high-end. We will try this out. I was debating whether or not to do this on stream or not, just because it might be kind of slow. But we'll see. All right. Taking the tablet out. I by all means do not have a fancy tablet. It's the cheapest Wacom tablet you can get. I'll get a keyboard though, that would be helpful. There we go. Alright. I like the oil pastel. I can't even talk right now. The oil pastel brush for like pen work. Oh, what was that? Why am I not liking the two? Is this gonna be too bulky? Oh, that's not one. Oh, that's definitely not one. Hold on. Just doing this all on the wrong layer, anyways. Okay. It's probably right on this line, huh? Okay, it can't be like sloppy on some letters and then clean on others. Man, I don't know what I want my handwriting to look like, guys. Let me make sure I spell her name right. Yeah, I already spelled it wrong. This is looking good. I feel like it might just look better if I just type the whole thing. Because I don't want to write out a whole description like this. Unless it was like, this is a project on blog. And then like if I had this there. It's a lot of text. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to do the handwriting thing. I don't think it looks as good as I thought it was going to look. So much for the tablet. Yeah, I'm already liking this a lot better. Alright, I think we're getting somewhere. I'm liking how this one's looking. I'm going to throw on... this one here is okay. I don't know if it's a good idea to have like these be perfectly aligned, or if it's cool to have it like overlap a little bit like that. I think it's fine. Okay, so that one's set. Keep it up. Looks like a cool project. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm doing so this is, I'm doing a, I'm assuming you just joined in. I'm doing a like book layout for my portfolio. I'm a graphic designer, and I'm at the point where I'm working on my portfolio, so I'm doing a book for my portfolio. In addition to like all the regular stuff like a website, business cards, maybe a couple of leave behinds. Anyway, so I'm taking one of my projects and I'm creating several different variations of what a project opener could look like in this book. This book is going to end up being like a 200-page hardcover book. So I'm trying to figure out the style of these chapter openers would look like. And then those would be followed by something like this, which would just be like work of the actual project itself. So I figured like this one here would start off with a couple images, kind of setting the scene. And then this is a photograph I took earlier this week of this project. This project consisted of a card set, a small book, a website, an infographic, and I think that was it. So this was like a mock-up version of this shot, but I ended up taking a picture, and I think the picture actually looks a lot better. Granted, there was some Photoshop work in here as well, but not a whole lot. And then, so yeah, the spreads would look kind of like this, very sort of portfolio-esque, I guess. So it looks very sort of like a lot of open space, a little white space, just kind of have the project shine. So like these spreads wouldn't be as designed as like a typical book. That's more reserved for the chapter openers. So this is how I have my book laid out so far. So it's just a matter of kind of picking the chapter opener, and I'm using whatever sort of running head that I like best. So I've kind of had this created. I knew that this would be sort of easy for me because I've already had a lot of this stuff created. Doing things like this is a mock-up of a poster. The really only photograph that I did was this one here of this angle because I couldn't find a mock-up for this angle. And in this shot here of my process work, which I still need to edit this as well. But I was going through here and creating some chapter openers. So I want to kind of review these really quick, and then we're going to start kind of finishing things up and printing, because I got to print tonight, and then I got to trim it all out and have it ready for the morning. Alright, so this is one chapter opener. Alright. Let's move this guy down a little bit. That one here is another one. And then this one here is another one using that same sort of style, but in a 2 spread versus a 1 spread layout. This is the one that we just finished creating. I'm not sure how I feel about that 8. Feels like a race car, like a jersey or something. I don't know. And this is another sort of style of what this spread might look like. I'm not sure if I like the image on the background though. For that 8 red box, maybe cut up one of the corners at the same angle as the line going through the photo. I agree, that would make it look interesting. The thing is, though, is I would need to make this consistent for every single project. And not... This is the only project that I have that has this angle going through. But then that does open up the possibility to maybe, like, a very subtle sort of, like, edit, or having this red box just take some sort of personality from the project itself. I'm talking shit. I have nothing to do. No worries. Hey, any ideas are good. Any idea is worth exploring, right? Yeah, I'll leave it for now. It's not my biggest issue right now. I got a lot of other things I should be working on. This one here, though, I wasn't a huge fan of this one. Unlock all on spread. All right, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. If make sure to follow if you haven't followed yet. I'm kind of sort of documenting this whole process, so I want to make sure that anyone that's interested doesn't miss out on anything, because I've started this portfolio process on here and still got a ways to go until this thing's done. And once it's done, it's going to look bomb. I think I'm liking the gray. Just because, you know, I got a lot of red elsewhere. This is kind of like a nice opportunity for it just to be a little bit different. A little bit more reserved. Oh my goodness. Okay. Water break. That's what I need. I need water. It's like, what did I scoot out to do? Do. I'm really liking how dynamic this one is. I think this one's really cool. Alright, so I think I want to do one more sort of variation of how this running head can look, and then calling it good. At least on this front, and then I need to plug in the running head into those other spreads. We're just going to kind of do some, open up some examples of what other people have done. I got a whole folder of different ones. That one's kind of cool. What sort of spread did I need it for? I needed it for this one. I think that I need it could work something sort of similar to what I've already had already, but with a little bit more flair on some of the elements. Trying to get things aligned here. Guess we can even just drop down the guideline there, right? And my name. And then down here would be a good spot for the page number. And over here, Over here, I don't know why this person here has so much information. I don't know what all this information they have is for. I think the slash just kind of indicates that it's preceding something, which is what I want. And then just down here, I would have the page number again. And somewhere along here, I would have sort of like these boxes, right? I have 9 projects, so I need 9 of these squares. And this would be the 8th project, so I would fill this one in. And I don't know why InDesign doesn't have the guides go across the whole spread. See, I mean, this might just be me, but like small little details like this really activate the page, and it really just kind of helps. Like this page was kind of bland before all that stuff, but now that you throw stuff in like that, it really helps, I think. Alright, which running head do I want to stick with? See if we can remember this. 0.375, 0.75. 0.375, 0.375, 0.75, 0.5. I think these had 6. Yep, cool. Do I want to use this one? Which one do you guys like best? You know what? I actually like this one the most. And the reason why I like this one the most is because when I have my projects I have a lot of projects that kind of bleed off the bottom edges of the page, and I don't want them to cover up anything down there. See how far 8 spread gets us. So this one here will be worth everything is white. And I think the next one I need another one like that too. Yeah. I don't think this one needs any navigation on it. Kind of detracts from the picture, you know? And this one here will have no page numbers. See, it's just a matter of like having some elements there, you know, and then other times they move and other times they stay. Like this one here, we'll be able to get away with everything being on it. On this page here, we will use all this one. Yeah, this is just me moving the photo around a little bit so that way the numbers don't get covered up. Here's another photo. We'll probably want to use all the white. Alright, and this one here we can actually use the regular layout that we created 8 of. See how well that looks? Or how well that looks? How well that works? Is it just me? Do I like it? I guess I better like it because it's going to my portfolio. And the last step will be kind of going through and just updating the page numbers so it looks a little bit more realistic, right? Sorry, I totally smudged my glasses. My number one pet peeve that I cannot stand is smudge on the glasses. Alright, so, cool. What's next? We got another one of those spreads. We got one more of these guys here. Just trying something out really quick I didn't think of before. Ooh. That sounded bad. I thought it would be kind of cool to kind of here. I need to do better. I need to get better at this. I'm sorry, guys. I thought it'd be a kind of cool idea to kind of start off the book like this, right? Where you see the front cover of it, and then at the end, then this kind of goes to the left, and then you see the back cover of the book. We'll try that out. Oop. I want to open that. Okay, Photoshop, do your thing. Oh my goodness. That's not gonna go away, is it? I don't think Photoshop's responding. I think it's gonna make me quit it. Yep. What's more important, an interesting angle or the fact that you can read the whole thing? No thoughts? Alright, no worries. Come on, Photoshop. We'll take that photo. We'll just kind of keep it there for now, but we'll know that we want to put it over here. Let me add the bleed. All right. See, this guy will open up now. You know what? I think I already have this created somewhere. I don't know where it is though. It might not be that as big as I think. So I had the mock-up for the front cover, and all I was doing now, or all I just did was flip the mock-up so that way the lighting would still reflect that of the front cover, or the back cover, I mean. Because obviously the seam here is now on the right. Minor detail, but things like that matter to me. It was actually funny. I was asking my instructor something. I was asking her like the edge of the pages of a book, right? And I don't have a good shot of it here. Let's see. I think I have it from last week. Oh, here we go. So this is, even better. So this is a photo that I took of another book that I did. And if you see here on these other pages on the left-hand side, you can see like all the other pages, right? So like this is the end sheet. There's a couple other pages before we get to the one that you're looking at. And they all have different colors, right? They're not all just one white color. But if I were to use a mock-up, you see all the pages in the back are all just white blank pages. And I was asking her, I'm like even like down in here, like where you can see the other pages through that sort of bend. I was like, is it how important is it that we go through and we change all the colors of those pages, or like even on this end here we change the color of those pages? And she just kind of looked at me and she's like, doesn't really matter. Which to most people it probably wouldn't, but for me as like being a designer with like lots of little finicky things, that stuff bothers me. So, well, I mean, even if it doesn't really matter to her, I'm still going to kind of go through and do it. Just because it makes me feel better. I don't want to spend money to get this book printed and not be happy about a particular element of it. So, the idea was for keeping that image there was so that way we can keep the angle same. And it doesn't look like it did. What the heck? Oh, there we go. That worked. Cool. Thought that would work for some reason, and it did. So perfect. Alright, so that's the end of the book. And then the only other one that we had, because I haven't done the website yet, is just this this infographic. And then I think we will be ready to sort of export this. And then I'll work on printing it. Here we go. That's okay. So I thought I forgot to put it on this one. I think I just forgot to send this to the back. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so then I can get rid of these guys here. Maybe I'll throw this one in here just because I have it. But I'm not going to print this one. Actually, a lot of these I probably want to end up printing. Well, maybe I should. I don't know. There's 23 spreads. That's a lot of ink. I don't even think I have that much ink. Alright, let me look at one other document that I have, and then I'll open this guy up. I created this sort of like what I call like an imposition plan, which is just sort of like what I'm going to put on each page of my book. So I have 7 pages like this with, I think, 25 pages on each, or 25 spreads on each. So I was just going to look through here and see what the actual page numbers would be. I'm just going to throw in these page numbers really quick, and then I'll call it a wrap. So the process in this photo would be 177, 177, 178. Which would make this. So that was 177, 178, 9, 80, 1, 2, 3. 183, 184, 185, 186. Wait, no. 184. Oh no, see, that's what happens when I mess up. 186. Okay, right is always going to be even, left is always going to be odd. 185. $187. 188, 189. You know, the best part about having the Apple mouse was that I could slide over without like changing tools. Like I could just flick it, and 190. But that was also the worst part too, is just because I would accidentally hit my mouse the wrong way, and then the whole thing would have been moving. That was 190. This will be 191, 192, 194, 193. Probably confusing a lot of people with how I decided to do this, huh? 195, 196, 197. 98, and then calling it good from there. Cool. All right. Well, this is really all I'm going to be working on for tonight. I'm just going to be working on printing this stuff, so I'm going to kind of cut it off here. Thinking a little bit more into the here. Let's change screens here. I'm thinking a little bit more about what the next steps are from here. So I'm going to print this out, get a critique from both my classmates and my instructor, and then whatever sort of feedback we have from there, we will implement onto the next rounds of design. But then also you'll see me doing, since I plan on streaming more later this week, probably Thursday. No, probably not Thursday, maybe Friday. Friday probably for sure. And then this weekend I will be streaming, and it'll be more of kind of like there'll be more photography sort of editing in it, because I probably will be starting another project that I'll be working on. So either some photography edits or some Photoshop mockups, or both. And then in addition to that, it's probably a separate stream. I'll be doing more layouts. I like to keep the layouts and the Photoshop mockups separate, just because Photoshop takes a lot of time and you can spend forever doing that. So plus I like to kind of stick to one thing and then kind of teach that, and then teach something else the next stream. Anyways, So keep an eye out for that. If you guys haven't followed already, make sure that you guys follow the stream. Doing a lot of sort of cool stuff here with this stream, I think. I like the idea of kind of just showing my process as I'm designing stuff, because I think, at least for me, I see a lot of designers create a lot of cool stuff, and I think to myself, man, that's something I'd never be able to create. And I mean, like, even just looking at some of these portfolios that other students have created, it's like, wow, these like beautiful pieces of art. I wonder how they probably just did this in like one go. But no, I mean, like with everyone, the first rounds of designs of even like the greatest designers in the world probably look like crap. So that's kind of what I wanted to be kind of transparent about this whole process. And then just for me, like, I think it's cool to kind of look back at and seeing like myself create the stuff. And maybe if I look back at this 10 years down the road, maybe I'll be like, oh, can't believe I was doing it that way. There's such an easier way to do this now. Or it's just, I mean, and then even for like younger designers, it's cool to kind of see the process. And anyways, thanks again for stopping by. Like I said, make sure that you follow me on Twitter to see if I'm streaming, or follow me on this channel, or hopefully both, and and then sign up for the notifications with the little toggle thing that comes up when you follow. But yeah, other than that, thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you guys on the next stream.